So I know a lot of people like to move in silence. Know who you are moving in silence with, right? Open your mouth.
You got this even as a student?
Yes, I was still a student when I got it.
What are some of the common requirements that you think you see in those job description, or like even if it is soft skill, maybe not necessarily a certificate, and even if it's certificates, like what are those things that they need to have?
think
Hi guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. If you're new on the channel, my name is Yemisi. I make videos about immigration vlogs and also career videos. I'm trying to integrate that on my channel, just bring people on, share maybe different information, resourceful information that is helpful for the community. Yeah, that's what we're doing today. This particular video is the part 2 of the nursing career video that we started. So if you've not seen that video, check it here. The last video we talked about how Victoria became a registered nurse in Canada, but this particular video is going to be how she got her first nursing job in Canada. Again, in that video I mentioned that she studied Masters of Public Health here in Canada, and we also made a video like 2 years ago. You guys should not laugh at us, that was before the glow up. So this is kind of like the third time she's on the channel. Well, second time, but third time you guys are seeing our channel. Let's talk to Victoria.
Hi guys, my name is Victoria. I'm a registered nurse in Saskatoon, Canada. We're here to talk about how I got my first nursing job as an RN in Canada. So I'll just start with the process. I've explained how I was able to transition from being a foreign nurse to a nurse in Canada, a Canadian RN. And also I've finished my master's in public health. So I have my master's now. Congratulations to me. I would say the job hunting process was a bit tedious, right? Because somehow in Saskatoon, they have like an internal hiring process. So someone that is external to their system, like, if you didn't study in Canada, you would have to keep applying on like maybe government of Canada website, right? And I kept applying, but I wasn't getting any response. I wasn't getting any reply. So it was stressful for me because everybody's always saying, there's nursing job now, there's nursing job. Almost like, it's like, how come I'm not getting any, right? They are not even replying me. So it was kind of stressful. But then one of my friends that we did my master's on public health together, thank God for him, he was already an RN. So where he was working, he spoke to his manager. Good thing, to have a good name is good. Because if he was not like a good staff, he wouldn't have been able to recommend me, right? So he spoke to his manager, and his manager was like, we love you. Anybody you recommend to us, we want them, right? So through him, I was able to get my first interview to interview as a nurse. And that's why it's also good to open your mouth. If I didn't tell that my friend, I would look at what was happening, he wouldn't have been able to do this for me. So I know a lot of people like to move in silence. Know who you are moving in silence with, right? Open your mouth.
It's a Nigerian thing, or maybe like an African thing.
I know you are moving in silence, but please open your mouth. So somebody that can help you will help you.
Right.
Exactly. Because we're in this country, we don't even know a lot of things. But if you don't open your mouth and say, this is what I'm doing, nobody can tell you the shorter and easier way.
You're right.
That you didn't even think of, and maybe the people in your circle didn't know, right? But you just be saying, Canada is hard. But some people have done 4 years work in 2 years because they got the right information, right? So he was able to recommend me to his manager. I did my interview. After doing my interview, I waited for like a month before they got back to me. I was like, oh my God, maybe I'm not going to get it, right? So while I was waiting, I just got this bright idea to call another hospital that was in Saskatoon, right? So I called them and I was like, please, I want to speak to the HR, right?
Being proactive.
And they're like, okay, we're going to send you to the HR. So they sent me to the HR. I just explained to him, I'm like, I just wrote my NCLEX. I'm a foreign nurse. I've been applying. I've not been able to get any interview, and it's been really hard for me. If there are any positions open. And he was like, okay, just send me your CV, right? And I sent him my CV. And after I sent him my CV, I called him back so he would know that I sent him my CV. So I called him like,
to acknowledge
oh, I sent him my CV, and he's like, oh, he's seen it, but he can't promise me anything, right? I mean, I put it at the back of my mind. I've done my own best, right? If I don't get it, fine, I tried. That's how I approach life always. After like maybe 2-3 weeks, another person emailed me and they were like, someone sent your CV to us. We're hiring for this place. When will you be available to interview and all those things? So I gave them my time and I interviewed for that. So while I'm waiting for 2 replies to come back, right? And I was stressed out, like really stressed. And I was still trying to finish my master's. So this whole period I was stressed. The month of March stressed me out. So as I was waiting, coincidentally, both of them came together and they're like, oh, we're offering you a casual position with this place. And I'm like, from 0 to 2. So I was like, so grateful. But you see the process I went through. Like, if I had kept on waiting and applying on my own, chances that I would get it would have been really slim.
So you got this even as a student?
Yes, I was still a student when I got it.
So that means it's possible.
That was.
Okay, because it's a casual job, right?
Yeah.
And because at the time there was that opportunity to work for 40 hours.
Yes. I got it as a student, but it was at the end of my master's, right? But I didn't start until I graduated.
Oh, okay.
Because I decided I was like, oh, can I start this month? And they were like, okay. So I started when I'd finished all my exams, when I was free. That's when I started. Yeah. So that's how I got my first job in Canada. That was so short.
Yeah, it's short, but I have questions.
Okay.
What are some of the requirements that you saw that you think might be helpful to anyone watching? Maybe the person needs to start thinking about doing this, doing that. Like, what were some of the common, again, you sent it to 2 different firms. What are some of the common requirements that you think you see in those job description, or like, even if it's soft skill, maybe not necessarily a certificate. And even if it's certificates, like, what are those things that they need to have?
think the first one would be like your nursing license, like from the province, right? You should have that. And then you should have your CPR. Yeah. Also, I had my transfer lifting and positioning certificate. That's for like what you use in the hospitals. So I had that too. I also had my police report, my vulnerability and
check. I've forgotten the other
criminality
one.
and vulnerability check. I already had that done. So those are the 4 things I think that I had to have before I started my interviewing process.
Okay.
Yeah. And if you don't have it before you interview, make sure you get it. So me, I just made sure I had everything. Anything. When I opened the jobs to apply, I just checked and they wanted this. So I made sure I got them.
Oh, okay. You studied Masters of Public Health.
Yeah.
Did that help in any way?
No.
Okay.
It didn't help in any way because that's not
the path.
I'm not like a public health nurse. I'm just like a general nurse, like a med-surg nurse. So you don't need, if it was a master's in nursing, then I would say it applies, but that didn't.
We didn't really.
Yeah.
Okay. So as a registered nurse, is that the same as a travel nurse?
No.
Okay.
A travel nurse is a registered nurse that travels.
That travels, period.
Yeah.
Okay. Do they have to do anything different? Like,
I think for you to become a travel nurse, you should have at least 2 years experience.
Here in Canada, work experience.
Yeah, okay. At least 2 years experience. It's just so you can build your skills, really. Because as a new nurse, you are very confused, really. We are just new to the policies, so many questions you have to ask. So it will be really at your own detriment to be left alone, right? To do where you go to like a rural area so it's best you have at least 2 years of experience working. That way you have gotten your feet wet. You are very solid in your decision making and how to approach issues of different, because you have worked for like 2 years on the floor. Yeah.
Did you think that because you worked in a care home, it helped during the interview as per you have experience? Do you think if you had just talked about your foreign experience as a nurse, it would have just helped?
When I interviewed, I let them know that this was my first job in Canada as an RN. So working care home, the scope of practice as a caregiver or like as a continuing care assistant or as a nursing assistant is different from RN practice. So the only RNs do more in addition to being a caregiver, because we also change patients, we also turn them, we also empty every bag.
Do you inject or no?
No, care homes, carers don't do that.
No, I'm saying as an RN.
Yes, you can give injections. So the scope of practice is very different, right? So the only thing that you'd say helped me was, I was introduced to some of the things that they could have done in the hospital, like, okay, maybe transferring, maybe, okay, working with a different population and all those things. But the actual RM practice, like being a care aide, does not actually, it helps maybe for soft skills, but like learning policy and also, but the scope of practice for nursing is bigger than
I get what
than being a carer. The scope of practice is a lot bigger. And some people, they don't even do their caring in a government place. So they do it private practice. So it's a little bit different from when you go into the hospital, right?
Yeah. As a layman, when you hear healthcare, everybody's thinking either care job, nurse. What are some of the, I mean, I know it's not an exhaustive list, but like, what are some of the other careers in healthcare? Because when people send me an email or send me DMs or even in the comment section, they're just like, oh, I want to move to the healthcare sector. And I'm like, that's you saying you want to move into like an ocean, but there are other areas that you should, But then, people just think because they see a lot of people talk about nursing, but then I know there are other careers in healthcare in Canada.
Yeah.
So what are
I think some of them are like, they have like people that are dietitians, they work in healthcare, social work, they work in healthcare, PT, physical therapy, physiotherapist, occupational therapist. We have respiratory therapists. We have people that do lab, the phlebotomist, med lab scientists, client care, client assistants. Like, there are so many other fields. Like, if you Google it, there's like an exhaustive list of a lot of people. They have X-ray people, like sonographers, people that do like scans. So there are ECG techs. So there are so many tech, pharmacy technicians, pharmacists. The list is very long. So maybe you should just ask ChatGPT, I have these skills, what kind of health worker can I be?
Okay, so apologies for looking down. There's a question someone asked, and because you mentioned social work, I thought we may just be able to touch on that a little bit. This person was saying, I would really love you to talk about social service worker, child and youth care, and addictions and mental health programs in your next video. Being that you mentioned you'll be talking about some other in-demand jobs in Canada, do you think those jobs are in demand?
I think like being an addictions counselor is in demand, because like there are lots where addictions, like mental health, there's like an increase, like since COVID, there's been like an increase in like mental health issues, and there are a lot of people that need addictions counseling, because there's also like being an increase in like substance use, especially now that cannabis is like legal. So like substances can induce a lot of mental health issues, and also like some people use substances as a cure for like their mental health issues. They use substances to numb the pain of what is happening to them. So they are already mentally ill, they need help. So addictions, a lot, like Saskatchewan Polytech does like addictions counseling
as a program.
Addictions counseling as a program. So like a lot of these colleges have like these programs.
Yeah, that's right.
So if you look for colleges, you can search for these programs. Social work, diploma in social work. They deal with a lot of like finances, housing, just to help people like when they transition from hospital to like home, help them find homes. And all those things. So I cannot talk extensively on what they do, because that's not my field, right?
But just to answer the person's question, is highly in demand, and maybe I'll just add it to
I would say
in demand job.
I would say they are in demand, but you cannot say they are in demand as nurses, right?
Oh no.
And they also do not make equivalent money. Yeah, but at the end of the day, you have to do what works for you and what you're passionate about. Yeah,
you're right. Thank you so much, Vicky.
Yeah.
Do you have any other thing?
I don't have any other thing. But you can follow me on Instagram at
Yeah.
the nurse pharmacist. Yeah.
Yeah, she dishes. Have you started dishing out information, or you're just
Maybe I'll start now.
because this baby is such a consumer of information? She needs to start dishing out information. I've told her to go and reactivate her YouTube channel. She used to have a YouTube channel when she was in India. So anyway, you said nurse pharmacist.
Yeah.
Why are you confusing us? Also, you were a pharmacist before. Yeah, because you did your bachelor in pharmacy.
Because I have the 2 degrees.
Hey!
That's why it's the nurse pharmacist.
Highly in demand. All right,
Highly sought after.
Highly sought after. All right, thank you so much, guys,
All
for
right.
watching. Again, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. If you have other questions, please let us know in the comment section. Victoria will be there to answer your questions. I'll always go drag her. You guys don't worry about that. Just ask your questions. And if you also want her to be on the channel again, it's just for us to bribe her to come down to admin.
And maybe the next time I'll be a pharmacist,
You
right?
know? Right, because this babe, she's currently reading another... Anyway, we like to keep things in private till they come out in the open. I mean, why not if not, right? Like, explore all the options that you have. And one thing that I drew out in all the conversation we had in the part 1 and also now in this part 2 is opportunity meets preparation. So if you have not prepared, you know, having all those licensing, writing all those exams, even in the winter, I mean, I can testify to some of those, you know, your moments. You know, all of that helps you to become better prepared and ready when the opportunity comes forth. And again, in Canada, a closed mouth is a closed destiny. Here, that is really, really deep. So is it the slogan? I mean, this thing to live by, the adage to live by. Because getting my job, it was because my friends were always sending me links. It was because they were on my neck.
And they knew that you were searching, right?
They knew I was searching. Exactly. Like, you have to tell people that you are searching for a job. Otherwise, in this Canada, if you close your mouth, nobody will know it. Anyway, I think I've always said that, Sha. So I believe you already heard again from another person. Always tell people. I understand back, you know, in Africa, there's this belief to always keep things private, work private. Yeah, you till now, like, you also keep things private.
You can also
job
for a job, and also whenever you come to somewhere new, you just assess your surrounding. Like, what is this person doing? How is their life? What are the things they say? Like, then you know how to approach them, right? Everybody has a friend for something, right?
You're right.
Some friends are really good at, let's go out and have a good time. You go out with them, and some people there, this is how they always say, they are always on your neck. Oh, you have to do this, you have to do that. Maybe if you need motivation, you tell them, I'm looking for a job, I'm writing this exam. They'll say, okay, fire on, you have to write it or do it now. But you have to open your mouth, to be honest. And every time I have opened my mouth, something has happened. Yes.
Something positive.
Something positive has happened. Yeah.
Okay.
So
it's okay. Thank you guys so much again for watching. We'll see you in the next one.
Yeah.
Bye, guys.
Bye.